Everyone, welcome back. If you have been watching any of my videos, you already know that tinnitus is not simple. It's not just about noise or aging. It's a really complex symptom of many possible influences. On this channel, I go through research factors that can affect tinnitus since the obvious medical causes, after the obvious medical causes have been ruled out. So you've already seen your ENT, and they've ruled out things that that there's nothing they can do. And then we go into things that I talk about on this channel, things that you can do to manage your tinnitus. So let me say that by this clearly, just make sure that you do see your doctor about it. Um, after that, really, controlling your tinnitus is about monitoring your blood flow and inflammation. So blood flow, you want to make sure that the blood is, that you're getting good blood flow every day, like with exercise, and that you're controlling your inflammation. And a really big factor on controlling your inflammation is airborne allergies. And I'm going to address some of that in this video when it comes to mold and dust. So anyway, like and subscribe if you have tinnitus and you want to hear some regular updates on the research and influencing factors on tinnitus. So when your body reacts to allergens like dust mites or pet dander or mold spores, it triggers an immune response, and that can cause swelling in your sinuses and eustachian tubes. And those are the tiny passageways that regulate pressure in your middle ear. If those tubes get blocked or inflamed, pressure builds up, and that pressure can directly contribute to tinnitus. So even if you don't have full-blown allergies, a little bit of exposure to dust and airborne irritants can cause a low-grade inflammation, and with the tiny space in the ears, that's enough to affect your ear pressure and potentially worsen your symptoms. And so there's also blood flow. Allergen reactions can cause congestion and restrict oxygen flow to those delicate structures in your ears. There's some studies that show that reduced cochlear blood flow, even temporarily, can influence your tinnitus symptoms negatively. So, or positively, depending on how you define that. But what's floating in your air can actually influence the tinnitus. So, what do you do about it? Cleanliness is a first line of defense, but just not just surface level, but really about a routine that you do regularly over time to make sure that it doesn't ebb and flow. So really, step one is to get an air filter. Make sure you get one without ions. Ions have been linked to significant health issues, so get the ion-free filters. Avoid the ions altogether. Just get the old-fashioned air filter that is airflow through a filter of sorts. That type of simple design. And also make sure to change the filter in your air filter, on a monthly basis. Next, the step is to make sure you wipe down your surfaces with a damp cloth, probably on a weekly basis, at least. And then don't use a dry cloth, because that usually just pushes the allergens around into the ear. So you want to make sure it's slightly damp or has some type of oil on it or something like that. So, and then keep your clutter to a minimum so that when you are dusting, you're getting all of the surfaces. On a weekly basis, vacuum, and make sure it's a HEPA filter vacuum. Weekly at a minimum, really, maybe even preferably twice a week. It's really crucial to also get the HEPA filter vacuums, because regular vacuums can actually blow allergens back into the air. And you can see that if you vacuum in the morning in the light. Like, so there's a ray of sunlight shining through the window, and if you vacuum there, can you see allergens being blown back into the air? A lot of the older fashioned vacuums actually blow dust right back into the air. So um, make sure that you wash your bedding on a weekly basis in hot water, at least 130 degrees Fahrenheit. And it'll say hot water on your washing machine. You don't need to actually stick a thing in there to measure it, just hot water. And also make sure that you are cleaning your furniture, and that includes your fans, your ceiling fans, and stuff like that. Make sure you get on the top so that every time it spins, it's not throwing dust down. And then vacuum. Like, some people actually vacuum their furniture. I actually have covers on all of my furniture, so that once a month I strip the furniture, throw all of that into the wash. I use very thin covers so that it is easier to wash, and then I wash all of that. I also do vacuum the couch on occasion, but I make sure to wash all of the couch covers. So you can use nice sheets, or you can just buy couch covers online. It's hard to find ones that are thin enough to throw in the washing machine every month, but if you search for it hard enough, you can find it. Um, and consider professional duct cleaning once a year. That can help manage if you have any air blowing due to air conditioning or heating systems that are blowing allergens all over the house. So, and if you're really prone to allergens, make sure that if you've got a lot of mucus or snot or whatever, antihistamines, nasal sprays can really help with that. Saline rinses can help flush out the allergens out of your sinuses. If you do use a neti pot, make sure that you're boiling the water for, like it says, 5 to 10 minutes. But really, you don't want any of those brain-eating amoeba in your brain. They really have a 99% mortality rate. So it's important to be very careful with that. So if you boil it, you can actually get little, you know, things to boil the water. Um, that are available. Sometimes Chinese people use those uh, um, hot water things. I'm not sure if that would be hot enough. If you boil it on the stove, it's if you just put it on a low boil, but as long as it's boiling for 10 minutes and then you let it cool. It is really important to let it cool for quite a while to make sure you don't scald your nose. It's really hard to find bottled water that has been gone through the osmosis process. Usually it's just filtered water, if that, when you buy bottled water. So bottled water is not enough. You need to boil it. You can also buy saline rinses too. But the bottom line is that if you need to, go to an allergen too. But tinnitus really does have a lot of influencing factors. Today we talked about cleanliness and allergens, but it is really a whole body influence. Making sure that you are not eating too much. The food you put into your body is a big influence. Make sure you don't eat too much. Make sure you're staying, that you're keeping your weight down. There's a lot of research that says that keeping your weight low and reducing your weight can reduce your tinnitus. And also, make sure that you're getting exercise every day. That's so crucial to make sure you're getting 10 to 15 minutes of exercise that actually raises your heartbeat and gets that blood flowing so that you are, having proper ear health. I hope this is helpful. And like and subscribe. Thanks.